Well, let's have a look at Apple Photos as a digital asset manager. Now, originally, Apple Photos was fairly basic, but it's certainly improved over time. And from my point of view, it now seems to do everything we need, because Affinity Photo, Designer and Publisher all natively interact with Apple Photos, certainly on the Mac desktop and on the iPad. I can't speak for Windows. I don't know what they use on the Windows platforms, but this is on the Mac. Now what you're looking at here is Apple Photos, and it's opened on All Photos. And you can see my mouse cursor up there. Perhaps I should see if I can start the little cursor gadget that puts an arrow up there. Maybe not. We'll do that later. But what I wanted to show you is the organisation. Now, by default, it comes up with memories, favourites, people. I'm looking in the left-hand column now. My photo stream recently deleted, shared activity. You've got a number of albums which you can add to. There's media types, videos, selfies, live photos, and I won't click on any of those yet because there's something I want to do on the main screen first. Now there's my albums. You can see the little plus sign. You can add an album, so if you've got photographs of model number 42, then you add an album, and in that you put the photographs of model number 42. When you import them onto your Mac, just import them directly into that album, and that's where they'll go. Now, of course, they will go at the same time, and this is what confuses people. You can see you've got a number of albums there. Now, when the album is empty, that's blank. The little icon is blank. So, family photos colorized down here, blank. iPad colorized, blank. No, there's nothing in there. But if there's an icon in there that's a light, if you like, a miniature photo, then there's something in there. So let's just close that for a moment, because what I want to show you is up here. We're right at the top. We're on All Photos at the moment. So this is showing you all the photos in the library. You can go by days, months and years. But before I go off this page, let's go up there a little bit. You can see I'm scrolling up the page. There's lots of photos there, taken over years and years. And I've got this one here in highlight, showing all items, top right hand corner. Now if I do the little down arrow key, you can show only favourites, edited, show only photos, show only videos, or keyword manager. You can put keywords in there, which means you can search by keywords. So if you're a photographer, model number 42 is one of your keywords. That's how you find it. Every time you go back to model number 42, search for the keyword, you've got all the images of model number 42. Just to the left here, that's an image taken in a place called Leyburn in Australia. Now, it would have a keyword in it, I'm almost certain, of Leyburn. This one here has got a little tag on there. But let's not worry about that at the moment. So if you want, you can sort by days. Gives you the days and dates. Now there's a nice big snake. Look at the size of that thing. You can sort by months, or you can sort by years. So it makes things easy to find in All Photos. But let's just go back to All Photos, showing all items. Now, we won't bother about memories. Well, you can. Memories, favourites, people, places. That's an interesting one, places, because it shows you all over the world where you've been. You can go by satellite. There's some in Australia, look at that. I've been around a bit, some in China, some in Europe, some in England. and a grid. There's all your places in grids. And a map. Okay, but that's places. So we don't want to worry about that now. Recent photos. We're back to photos again. These are ones I've recently taken or recently imported. Imports. Now it's a little bit slow because I've got the screen video running at the same time. So let's hope it doesn't crash the whole thing. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Ah, waiting. It looks like it's that's given it a bit of a heart attack. That has. There we go. My photo stream recently deleted. So you've got about 28 days, I believe. Photos and videos show the days remaining before deletion. After that time, items will be permanently deleted. So you can see there's 2 days left and those photos will be gone. Less than a day left. Gone. 2 days left, 2 days left. Oh, let's go up the top, see what we got. There we go, look, 21 days left. So that will sit in there for 21 days, 29 days. Okay, that's no big deal. Media types, videos. There's all the videos I've taken and the times that they run for. Very handy. Selfies. Oh, there I am. Oh, goodness. And there's some live photos, panoramas, bursts, screenshots, lots of screenshots. There's actually quite a few more than that. And over the side there, you can see as I scroll up, there's lots of screenshots. Screen recordings. There's a number of screen recordings. Animated. Well, there's nothing in the animated folder. Now, this is the important one. Let's get that out of the way. My albums. This is the one where you organise your photos. My albums. And there they all are. Tutorials, Canva. Now, let's go. See that one there? Empty. Let's have a look. So, only tutorials. So, if I'm creating a tutorial, and I was with those ones, or still am in some cases, they're all in one place. Albufera, where I visited recently. Nice. So if you've got your iPhone, and these were taken with an iPhone, and you can see HDR, it very nicely tags HDR for you. Are there any other tags there? There's just a couple I've taken with HDR on. I thought I'd taken a couple with RAW. But never mind, let's go back up to the top here. Well, there's one with HDR, get info, and it gives you the info. JPEG, when it was taken, Apple iPhone SE, tells you all about it. What more could you want? Some images from Canva, the vineyard that I own, small vineyard I'm building, Affinity book cover art. There's artwork I'm doing with Affinity. YouTube icons, location visits, Bridge North, Bruges, Alcock Tarn, Felixstowe walks, all under one album. So you can have albums within albums. Torremolinos, beautiful place. Okay, but we don't want to visit there now. Imports, anything you import will go into there if you like, because that's where I put them, so I can keep them. Keep track of what I've imported and delete the ones I don't want. Affinity photo. Well, I'm working on Affinity photo. And I've been leaning forward too far for the camera, but that's all right. Doesn't matter. Deposit photos, Unsplash. Now, the one I'm looking for, because people are always banging on about being able to access raw photos. And there down the bottom is raw photos. Now these are actually all raw photos. You'll see that little J that's in the corner there. See that? That little J tells me get info. It's a JPEG. What? Say what you say? I thought that was a raw photo. Well, it is. But that's telling you that it's actually both. You can use raw as original. Now, it doesn't show the raw photo on here. It shows you a JPEG because it's your screen. It's your JPEG. You can't display raw photos on a computer screen. Whatever they tell you, what you're looking at will be a JPEG, and there it is. But if you want to edit the raw as original, use raw as original, it's there. So it behooves you to keep your raw photos separate. I didn't take an image, a raw plus JPEG image, when I was photographing that. That's why these are all got the little J. Because in transferring them, scroll right down, in transferring them to the PC, not PC, it's a Mac. Okay, let's get technical here. It's a Mac Mini. But in transferring from the phone, get info, was a phone, Apple iPhone. Oh, very good at taking pictures of the Apple iPhone. Yes, well, there you go. There's lots of them. Let's see if I have one that's not taken with the iPhone. Now, how did I take these pictures with an iPhone and have them as raw images? Because I used a program called Halide, a little app called Halide. Now, I see that ON1 are bringing out an application in 2020, a mobile photography, and it will have all of the controls that a normal digital camera has. Not just the iPhone, but digital camera controls. That'll be the bee's knees. Now, the thing I'm talking about here, there's more Leyburn, there's some very old pictures. Back to the raw images. If I want to open one of these, let's say I've got the info. What is it? Still with the Apple iPhone. Okay. I know I've got raw photos that I didn't take with the iPhone because I've got a Panasonic DMC G5. Let's see if I recognise any photos on here. I was walking around particularly taking raw photos with this for this very exercise, so quite possibly I haven't. Let's see what I've got in Photos General. Imports, Affinity Photo, YouTube, Vineyard. No, they'll almost certainly all be. I know where I'm looking. I'm looking at Torremolinos. Now, Torremolinos, these photos were taken, pretty sure. Now, there's one of marginal info. Oh, it's a JPEG too. Oh, goodness me. Robert, come on, boy. Get info. I've got to do some sorting out here, haven't I? Panasonic DMC G5. These photos have been moved around quite a bit, so. But anyway, what I'm doing here is wasting time. Let's take a raw image. Let's take that one there. Use raw as original. And I can go down here to edit with, and there we have Affinity Photo, or Publisher if I like, or Designer if I like, but let's do Affinity Photo. Now this should be bouncing away. There's Affinity Photo bouncing away down the bottom. Takes a moment to come up as usual. And there's Affinity Photo popping up. Just close that opening sequence. There's Affinity Photo. And there's the image in there as a background. And you can do all that. What more could you want? Okay, let's close that. And go back up the top. And exit out of photos in a moment. Well, that's the end of having a look at this, because the next one I want to do, you can do that also on the iPad. And on the iPad I have darkroom and AC/DC, which are somewhat more limited than this, because, have a look at this, before I go, you can search in photos. I just searched for dogs. Now there's just about every section on there. If I go to photos, search for dogs. I forgot to show you this one. There's all the dogs. In albums, in moments, there's 251 photos related to dogs. I haven't found another DAM that you can do that with. It may be there, but I can't find it. Okay, that's enough for now. I just wanted to show you how easy this is to use with Affinity, Photo, Designer or Publisher. And of course the good thing about Affinity, Designer, Photo or Publisher is that you can export or save directly from your work back into this, back into Photos. And it goes directly into this, and you'd simply either move it directly to an album or come back to it when you're finished with Affinity and move the image that you've just edited into an appropriate album. That way, when you show photos, you see people get a bit confused about this business, because when you first open Apple Photos, it shows you every damn thing you've got. But you don't need to do that. If you just want to show albums, you've got the albums you want. Easy as. Okay. Next I'll have a look at much the same thing, only on the iPad, because on there I've got darkroom and AC/DC. A bit like the rock and roll band.